And welcome back. I'm Monica Crowley. Thank you for sticking with us. And you won't be sorry because right now we're joined by two additional guests here to talk about some very exciting medical research and a tremendous breakthrough. To my left, this beauty right here is Rashida Ali. She is the great Muhammad Ali's daughter. And all the way on the right-hand side of the panel is Chaim Leibovitz, who is the CEO and president of C&L Natural Resources, and they're both here to talk to us today about a major breakthrough in ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, and MS, which is multiple sclerosis. So, Rashida, let's begin with you. What have you guys found?
Well, Chaim and I are partners. He is the president of Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics. And I am a Parkinson's disease advocate, obviously, for obvious reasons, because my dad has Parkinson's. But I've gotten involved with Brainstorm because of their incredible research. What's really happened in the next couple of days, which I'm really excited about, is the partnership with Hadassah, which is an incredible, world-acclaimed medical facility out in Israel. But their main focus is they treat patients with stem cell therapies. And I think that's a great partnership that they're having with us, because what we do is we develop adult stem cells, but we're derived from the own bone marrow cells to help treat and cure neurodegenerative disorders.
So we're talking about Parkinson's disease as well as ALS and MS.
Right. We're starting clinical trials with ALS. That's our first start.
Okay.
And we're really excited. We already have the blessing from the Helsinki Committee, and we're waiting for our final approval. And so once that's done, we can start leading way into our ALS trials. It's very exciting.
It's so exciting. And Chaim, tell us about what's going on at Hadassah Medical Center in Israel with these clinical trials.
Exactly. Hadassah Medical Center in Israel is probably the best medical center in the Middle East, and they have experience with stem cell treatments in MS patients.
And we're talking about adult stem cells, not embryonic.
Of course,
yes?
Today everyone is focused on adult stem cells, not only for the religious and ethical reasons, but also for health reasons. It's not tumors, and specifically our company that would be going to lose autologous self, like Rashida just explained, from the patient himself as almost bone marrow derived stem cells. So we bypass the rejection issue. So probably these cells are safe. There are many scientific papers already that were published that these cells shouldn't have a safety issue, but we got to try it. We're doing these clinical trials. And when we come to phase 2, phase 3, we're going to approach the FDA, and we're going to do some trials in the States as well, led probably by Professor Brown out of Massachusetts University Hospital. He's the most well-known doctor for ALS in the world, and he has signed off our clinical trial protocols and is endorsing his patients to sign up for the clinical trials in Israel. Just for a word, we are going to do 26 patients. Thousands are on the list.
So are we talking, Rashida, about a certain medication that's being developed, a cocktail of medications? What are we talking about here, and what has the initial research shown?
Well, the first thing, we initially focused on ALS because it is the most severe of the neurodegenerative disorders, obviously. And for a lot of ALS patients, time is of the essence. Fortunately, for a lot of people who've been diagnosed with ALS, most of these patients, maybe 2 to 3 years from the time, that's the fatality rate. It's very, very tragic. So really we're focusing on this. But with the stem cell research, it's a series of phases, as Chaim mentioned before, that each patient would have to go through. And of course they'd have to be a candidate.
I'm able to elevate some more on it.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Can you tell us how somebody might, because there might be people watching us now who have Parkinson's or ALS or MS that say, hey, look, I'd like to get on the waiting list for the clinical trial.
So I'm not the doctor, but I'll explain what's going to happen. Of course, the company will have to announce the criteria for that, but it's going to be a simple process. The patient's going to come into the clinic, going to have the bone marrow test like a blood test, almost bone marrow derived. You have a small per mil, 0.02 of stem cells of your own. The company has a special technique that knows how to expand them into tens of millions of cells, and then we differentiate them into supportive factors needed for the various diseases, Parkinson's or ALS or MS. And then the patient will come back after this differentiation process, which is patented by BCLI, our ticker Brainstorm. The patient will come back, he will be injected in different targets, depends on what disease. And then we want to hope that it's going to have the influence that it should have.
And so what kind of impact exactly are you expecting? Are you expecting, for example, that the sheaths around the nerves will regenerate?
Exactly. You know, most of our cells are supportive cells, and these supportive cells should first of all, those cells that didn't die off, that are not sick, to keep them well, and hopefully also to regenerate the new cells, healthy cells, and that will eliminate, first stop the disease from progressing. So an ALS patient at the early stages diagnosed immediately will get these injections. We stop the progression, and hopefully even we will be able to cure. But it's not too early to say that. In animals, we have great results for Parkinson's and ALS.
What the initial animal
reversing
research?
damage of,
Yeah, in animals, I can tell you, it's unbelievable. Maybe another day we should sit down and show you pictures of these mice that got our special technology cells. Now, we did something in animals, something unbelievable. We took in animals human cells, we were supposed to prove, into animals, which is a rejection problem. We had to give anti-rejection. And even though we gave anti-rejection medicine, it had the impact. And animals, yes, that they were, let's say, half paralyzed because of ALS or Parkinson models we put into them, they started to walk and run. Yes. If it will work in people like that, it's like bingo. We're a 10 billion company. We're not talking about that. We want to first see in the first stage to stop.
To
hold off from the deterioration.
Absolutely. And then work
but
on reversing.
Hopefully we will see. Now, the good thing is, while phase 1 and phase 2 usually in clinical trials, you start off, let's say, if we would go on the Parkinson trial immediately, we would have to start off with a lot of patients because it's not so fatal. And it wouldn't be with patients at first. It will be only a safety test to see there's no side effects. And ALS, the Western regulatory system, FDA in Helsinki and Israel, they immediately put you into ALS patients. So even though we're looking for safety in the first trial, we will already see efficacy. And that's what's the most important. We may be the first company out there, we're well positioned to Brainstorm, to be the first company out there to have a breakthrough in stem cells, which may be the biggest breakthrough in the century of how people will be treated from now on for diseases.
Is that your company's sole focus, adult
stem cells, bone marrow derived adult stem cells only.
Just to reiterate something that we might not have heard very clearly, and it's really, really interesting, is that you're talking about the patient's own bone marrow and
no rejection
stem
problem.
cells.
Yes.
So you're not talking about taking one stem cell and applying to thousands of other people.
No, his own, no rejection, and that's why we're so happy with the results with the animals, because the animals overcame a rejection problem and still it had humans into animals. Even when we give anti-rejection medicine, so it may kill the cells.
Why do you think
over here we don't have to give anti-rejection.
Why do you think that is? Why are you having such great success using adult stem cells on these particular diseases, do you think?
Well, Chaim is a little bit more toward the research side. And I know you had talked a little bit about the phases that cells go through.
Yes. Now, unfortunately, we don't have our chief scientist here today, which we will do that again. But I can talk what I have learned as president of the company over the last few years. These cells, stem cells stay in a body forever. So stem cells grow into organs. That's how we are made of, after the embryo, our cells. And some cells stay. And the question is, why do they stay? And probably the reason is that it's there, it will be able to cure us ourselves. Probably even stem cells do something inside us, and many diseases we don't even know it cures, but not everything. Now, scientists believe that one day maybe we will be able to derive stem cells and create a new heart rather than doing transplantation. And it may happen one day.
And regenerate brain tissue.
Exactly, that's they're doing already. But for now, for neurodegenerative diseases, to give support factors in cells, to be support factors or nerve-like cells, etc., that many companies are trying. There's a competition out there, which we're very happy. And probably it's well known, as everyone says, adult stem cells will be the first ones out there. And we are positioned to be the first ones. Let's hope.
It's so exciting. Rashida, how is your father doing?
He's great. He is really a warrior. He, as most of us know, he suffered from Parkinson's for 25 years plus. Hopefully he'll live to be 100. It seems at this rate he will be. He's very strong and he's doing good.
Clinical trials?
Well, I do talk to him a lot about. He knows all about my partnership with Brainstorm, and I'm always studying, learning a little bit more about, because as we know, medicine does change. I do, in my heart, feel that stem cell research is going to be the medicine for the future. That's going to take us to the next generation. And I really do feel, and I'm hoping, if we do have the ALS clinical trial success, then of course it will give us incredible promising news for other neurodegenerative disorders such as Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis, stroke, and other victims. So I'm hoping that if we are successful, I am hoping that Parkinson's patients and my dad will come aboard.
Well, it's so good to hear that about your father. Give him our best.
I'll give him a kiss.